What's good, everybody? It's your boy JSX4 here, and it's time to actually jump back into the quick cut to the story after I kind of, left it on red for like 10 minutes. But still, nonetheless, it is time. But before we begin, gotta mention something. Number one, I drew Suzune yesterday because I was trying to figure things out. So yeah, I got my digital art groove back in some shape and form. No, I'm not taking commissions mainly because drawing takes a lot. This drawing of Shizune literally took about 3 days, so it takes a lot for me. Also, I'm not necessarily good at drawing commissions, which is why I had the Quickhouse commissions. And if you wanted to see the uncensored version of it, obviously Patreon is the place to go. Where's my first attempt to draw nipples, and it actually came out pretty well, so I highly recommend that you do become a Patreon if you can. And oh, I might show 2 characters from the other anime series I've been writing in the background. That's not the Quickhouse story, so keep those 2 things in mind. We obviously started season 3 like not too long ago, 2 weeks ago pretty much, and essentially with that entire thing, basically Kodako puts us in this universe where it's just Lolly and Shota, and the other universe that is pretty much the adults, which the whole safe haven has been split in half to be that way. And obviously Kodako is giving Konako a rough time by stomping her in the head like an asshole. And then obviously the girls on the other side has to figure out how to deal with Madaka because she's just raging around in war god mode. And a lot of stuff is just honestly happening. And we can't necessarily get to that side either because Kodako put a bomb on us, me and Konako, so we can't necessarily leave if we wanted to. So yeah, everything's a bit rough. So that's pretty much what you honestly needed to know. If you want to hire more if you want to see it in better detail and better explanation, then please go ahead and watch the previous episode before. So we get into Act 1, and essentially Konako just at the infirmary, laid the hell out, as obviously you would because you just got stomped in that freaking head. And so at this point I'm just like kind of regretting everything at this moment, saying that I should be the one that should be hit for getting beaten up by Kodako at this point, not her. She didn't have to necessarily go through that. And that's when Alice is just like, you should be more sorry, you haven't figured a way out of here yet. And so I'm just like, even if I did, I'd still be blown up, which begs the question, how are you even in this world right now? And so Alice is just like, do you forget I'm a succubus? I can easily travel through different worlds and universes, and now I'm just like, oh, so you world hopping? And then she's just like, shut up, boy. And so I'm like, anyway, why you come here? And so she basically says, I haven't heard from Mari for like a while, so I just followed her here. Also, I just wanted to make sure she was okay, along with you, since it's been a while since I've seen you like this. And I'm just like this? What do you mean? You been here before? And before she could even answer, Mikan kind of comes from the corner, and so she's all kind of like, she will make a full recovery. I'm sorry for this. Sorry for everything. This is my fault. And I'm like, Mikan? How are you here? What are you? And then she cuts me off, and Mikan just like, Kodako wanted a nurse in case, so that's why. If I didn't have sex with you, we wouldn't be here. Junko poisoned my body with despair. It made your despair worse, and I felt so bad about it. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. And so at this point I'm just like, oh, so that's how it is. So as you guys remember, if you did watch season 1, you'll know the safe haven kind of got haywire and then destroyed itself, and that's because Makan's body is obviously full of despair, and that Junko decided to poison for whatever reason, and essentially caused the safe haven to explode itself when I smash. So yeah, the whole reason why the safe haven went down is because of Makan, if you couldn't figure that out. So basically I'm just like, so you're the reason all this happened. Look, take care of Konako and it's whatever. And so Alice is just like, so what will you do now? I need to talk to the only person with true power here. And so I'm just like, I'm gonna go find Yukari and convince her to join my side. She helped Junko behind the scenes. She's the reason why so many girls were kidnapped. The school still has a lot of them locked away. And I'm just like, if that's the case, then that's even more reason to convince her over to my side then. And so Alice just like, well, have fun with that. I'm pretty much just gonna find Mario, probably get a slice of pizza or something. But even still, I'll try to make sure to keep watch. And so I'm just like, thanks. And before I leave, I end up slapping Makan on the ass. And she just like, and so I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna find Yukari. And once I'm done, I'm coming back to you. And so I can deliver you your punishment. Because at this point now, I'm your Junko. And she's just like, yes! Yes. So, yeah, McCollum is about to be my bitch. Anyway, we go on to the other side of the safe haven where all the adults and more mature characters are. And essentially, Blue is kind of just looking outside the window in the hallway, just trying to think to herself. And essentially, Shoko just like, finally found you. I take it you don't know anything about the angry chick that's fighting everyone, do you? And so she basically tells her about the whole war god Momodaka running around trying to beat everybody's ass. And essentially, Shoko's just like, we need all hands on deck right now. And Blue kind of be like, not necessarily sure how they're going to handle this without Jay. So she's just like, but Jay, and then Shoko kind of comes in and she's just like, I know we should rely on him, but he isn't here right now. We had to make do. I can't believe I'm going to give you advice actually about this, but you need to step up. Become indomitable in your own way. That's what you should try to do, Blue. We need to fight and then kill this girl. And so that's when Raven kind of pops up, because if you don't remember, obviously Raven and Alice is like something, you know, that came within the brain of Jay. And essentially they're both handling different parts of the world. So Alice is taking the lolly shoulder side while Raven takes the more mature adult demon side. So yeah, that's how that is. And so Raven, how am I going to do Raven's voice? So Raven was pretty much just like, that's not how we're going to do things. We need to save her. Besides, I don't think Jay would want that. Oh my god, that's a horrible Raven voice, but we're gonna have to go with it. Anyway, Shoko's just like, but she's too dangerous. She has to die, or so no one else does. And Raven just like, out of the question. And so basically they keep going over and over again with this entire argument. And Blue is just kind of tuning it all out, because it's very reminiscent to her in her dream world, where her friends would argue a lot and she would just play a guitar riff in the back in the corner somewhere, just so she can calm her mind, as well as just to ignore the problem ahead. And so thinking back to that same riff that she used to play back then, she finally makes up her mind to say, save her. And so Shoko just surprised about all this, and then Raven just says, good to see you have a clear view on things. And then she leaves. And so Shoko just like, but are you sure? And so Blue just like, trust. And so Shoko just again is like, trust, huh? Fine. We'll say Madaka. Can you be even much more of a pain? Do you not necessarily know how hard she hits? It hurts really bad, you know? And so basically, Blue is like hearing her complain, but at the same time, she knows it's just some friendly chatter. So that's why she's smiling about this entire situation, knowing that they're going to be able to save Madaka and all this. So yeah, it's just nice to see Blue being happy, honestly. So we finally get to the part of Act 3, and essentially I'm just around the school in my own version of the safe haven with the lawless and shotas, and pretty much I'm just like, where is that damn girl? Like, I'm trying to find the damn 4th Chaos Emerald. Like, where is it? Why is there so much emphasis on the word damn? But anyway, I'm pretty much trying to find her, looking all over the school, and I couldn't find her, even though Yukari was pretty much being invisible the entire time with her magic powers. And essentially Yukari just kind of popped out of nowhere. She just like, I've been around the whole time. I was hoping you would have been noticed. And I'm just like, well, I see you now. Anyway, I got questions. Like, who are you? And so Yukari says, my name is Yukari Asanami. As you can tell, I'm a spellcaster. And I'm just like, is that even a real last name? And so Yukari just like, whether or not it is not important. Besides, I'm sure your real name doesn't have a number in it. Anyway, I need to ask you some questions as well. So I'm just like, well, one I have is, are you from the dream realm? Because I've never seen anyone like you before. And so Yukari says, yes, it seems like many people are coming from such a place. Now, I'll ask you mine. Is Shoko Toyokawa, my sister, in your presence? And I'm like, you have a sister? Wait, she's your sister? But y'all got different last names. And so Yukari's just like, it doesn't matter. We are still sisters despite that. And so I'm just like, well, yeah, she's in the other universe. And so Yukari starts to demand, take me to her. I had a feeling Junko lost her and kept both of us away from each other. I'm just like, you must forget, you dumbass hoe. You strapped this bomb here to me. So I'm kind of stuck here. Did you forget that happened like 10 seconds ago? Because I feel like you did. If we try to leave, we die. And that's pretty much wraps for us. And so Yukari just like, oh, right. So Yukari ends up taking the bomb off with her magic and essentially had started to get ready to, go to the other side of the universe where Shoko is. And so she's just like, that should be enough. I had the magic, I just need your mind, so let's go. Then you will take me to her. And so I'm thinking about leaving, right? I'm thinking about possibly reuniting a sister together, having a good time. But then at the same moment, if I leave, what's gonna happen to Konako? And then that will be like a whole season 2 thing all over again. And so at this point, I'm just like, forget it. If I leave, then Konako will stay here. And I'm not losing her again. Besides, how I know you won't betray me? You do work for Konako. And so Yukari just like, I only helped her because I understood her pain. In truth, I don't care about her. How about we make a contract? And I'm like, a contract? And so she says, yes. You see this on my chest? This was a contract I had with someone else. A mage's contract will bind with me forever. Whatever you want, I'll grant it. And so I'm just like, so I can ask you for anything. And so Yukari says, that required my uses, yes. Now, what do you want me to be for you? And so I'm just like, anything, huh? Alright then. Then I want your loyalty. In other words, stay by my side. And so Yukari says, fine, I'll be with you forever. And then she started blushing out of nowhere. And just like, what's up? And so Yukari's just like, you have to mark me. But I seen what you've done with girls, so when I get naked so you can mark me, don't be weird. And I'm just like, I'm not doing anything to someone I just met. So in case you don't know how the whole marking thing kind of goes, which a lot of people will probably not know except for me because I'm the one that's writing this damn thing. But essentially, when you mark someone with a binding spell contract, essentially you have to pretty much touch the body in some shape or form. You could put maybe some type of design on, Yukari in random that way. Or maybe you can draw a line on her or something, and then that will represent, that mark of the spell binding contract. There is a bunch of ways you can kind of do it. Basically, let's say if you put something that's made out of metal and you carved it into a certain shape, you can put that on her, and then that will represent the spell binding contract with that very same marking. Or you could literally just kiss her, and then your literal lips would be the marking on her body. That will be the spell binding contract. So basically, you touch her in any shape and form, basically that will be the spell binding contract. And that will be the whole marking of how she will have that on her body forever. And so that's how the spellbinding contract kind of works. So Yukari gets naked, and so she's like to herself, calm down, Yukari, he's just a boy, it's fine. And so I'm basically examining her body for more than a moment, because obviously I'm trying to get some good looks in. And then I finally decide where I want to put my mark, and I slap her ass. And so I'm just like, right here. And so Yukari like, ow! Why you slap it so hard? So I'm just like, wow, you weren't kidding. You really did leave a mark. And I'm just like, so I guess you really are going to stay with me, huh? And so Yukari just like, it burns. I'm not going to be able to sit down at all. I should have worded myself better to avoid this. I'm like, what? You'll be fine. And so Yukari's ass start glowing red. And so I'm just like, glad to be here with you, Yukari. Now that you're here, things will be a little bit more easier. And don't worry, I'll take you to your sister as soon as this stuff is done. And so Yukari just like, of all the places, you marked me there? Ugh, it still stings. Like that whole hand, hopefully I can show it on YouTube, but that whole ass handprint on that ass, it's just like, wow. Anyway, Yukari gets stressed, and basically, she just like, anyway, let's keep this a secret. Kodako and Junko can't find out about what we just did. I'll help you when you need me, so just say my name and I'll be with you. Also, since we're working together, you should know, someone right now is watching you. And I'm like, huh? And so Yukari just like, I'm sorry, but I really need to go. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, someone's watching me, so who the hell is it? And I'm kind of looking around trying to basically figure out who it is and where. And I'm unfortunately not looking hard enough, because Tanya is on the prowl and she's on my ass. And essentially it's just like, I got my eyes on you, brat. Such an uncivilized boy should have been put down. And so Kodako in Tanya's mind, because this is what Kodako told Tanya to do, essentially, she was like, I know she wants him alive, but for me, take the demon's life. And so essentially, through some BS, because she caught me off completely guard, Tanya dropped down from the heavens and just collided with me and knocked me all the way down to the absolute ground. And so Tanya's just like, this is who that girl was scared of? And he's the one doing whatever he wants to women? Uncivilized animal. This just goes to show that these apes can't handle their own problems. And so that's when she starts stomping on the back of my own damn head. Why is everybody stomping on everybody today? I don't know. But anyway, Tanya just keeps going and she's just like, you may have gotten rid of the guns in this universe, but that's fine. I don't mind shattering your skull on the ground. Which also is another thing I forgot to mention. The safe haven has rules, and there is very few rules in the safe haven, but there is very important rules. Like, well, number one, you cannot use a gun in a safe haven. You can use a blade, you can use your fist, you can use whatever type of blade work thing you want to use, but you cannot use a gun. Guns are too cheating, and they're too BS of a weapon to use. If you're gonna solve your problems, solve them with a fist fight and be a man about it instead of use a bitch ass weapon. So that's pretty much why guns aren't in this universe. And I'm gonna be like, but what about the time you pulled a gun on Mukuro? Why you think I confined myself to a sword? Mainly because I broke the rules. So instead of, you know, continuously pulling out different weapons because I have Ajimu's ability of 1,000 blades, I confine myself to a sword mainly because I should not be able to pull out a gun ever again, no matter how emotional I can get or for whatever reason. So if I'm going to do anything and kill somebody in this world, then I would have to use it by a blade. So that's just how that's going to be. So I can find myself to a blade from now on. Anyway, so that's pretty much like one of the rules. And maybe one day I'll explain more and more rules as we kind of go along. Anyway, Tanya was just basically just laughing insanely as she was just stomping the hell out of my head. And just at this point, I was getting close to death. It was getting very close if she kept going. But then something really strange starts to happen. Then, because she kept trying to kill him, the world started to begin to shake like it did the first time with the safe haven about to be destroyed. And so Tanya just like, worthless, with the final stomp. And she's just like, now what the hell is going on? And so out of all the things, my body starts to shift in a very uncomfortable position. And so Tanya just looks at the ground and then she sees that my body is gone. And so she's just like, what? And so the safe haven was in danger, but instead of destroying the universe, the despair was pulled back into Jay, giving him all the despair energy, which has now gone beyond despair. And so Tanya's just like, how the hell? And I'm just looking at her down in this new form, as an adult now, but in this new form, which looking kind of strange. Like, why am I purple? What's with this outfit? What is going on? What's with this color? Why is my eyes yellow? And so a despair-ridden Jay looked at Tanya silently, then kicks her, but she manages to block. So Tanya's just like, what happened? Why do you look different? That bitch said nothing about, but before she finished her sentence, I'm already in her face, blitzing at her, and pretty much grabbed her by the face with one hand. Now Tanya obviously not gonna necessarily take that. So she starts trying to bite my hand viciously, but still, to me at that point, it was a soft attack. And because I knew it was a soft attack, I start to smile very deviously because I know her victory was very short-lived. And so in a very creepy and distorted voice, I'm just like, fly. And so I chucked Tanya through the school building and above the roof, then kicked her down onto that very same roof while finally slamming my feet into her body. And so basically, I'm just standing on top of her body at this point, just looking down at her and just utter a few words. And I'm just like, and so then the despair was released from me into Tanya, and she saw the greatest fears and was tortured by it, and it was maximized by 100-fold. She was screaming, begging for it to stop, and then she went completely unconscious. Yeah, we just kind of beat this literal spawn of Satan via despair. Yeah. So Tanya just completely got washed. Anyway, so at this point, to make sure Tanya was completely out of it, and because this is a me thing and I would totally probably might do this, just to make sure she was completely unconscious, I decided to kick her in the vagina just to see if she'll wake up, and she didn't. And so the last thing I end up saying to this girl was basically saying, "Uncivilized girl." And so the despair starts to leave Jay, and it takes a massive strain on his body. And at this point, I'm just like, what's that? And so pretty much that is the end of the story so far. Yes, that is a lot that has happened, and there is a lot of details, information, and stuff that has currently gone on with the whole despair thing. Also, what the hell was that despair form? I'll go ahead and tell you, that is a despair form beyond despair itself. A rare form of despair, which is known as Neo Despair, which, as you just saw, was Neo Despair J. So yeah, that's basically kind of the concept of where I'm going to take despair and despair energy and how it's going to be used from going forward. So, and this is kind of like the cool thing too, because Danganronpa never really used despair as like a physical form, or actually made it into like something that's like an actual, thing that can be seen or used. So instead, I'm gonna just use it in this shape and form and try to make it something unique than what they could ever have done. So that's my thinking when it comes to it. But yeah, hopefully you didn't enjoy this one. The next episode hopefully won't take too long, and hopefully I'll get it done before the 18th, because the 18th is when I'll go to school, and probably a lot of the uploads and a lot of stuff online will probably be a lot slower than usual, which will absolutely suck, but it is what it is. So hopefully, things will get a little bit better as through time, and that's why I want you guys to subscribe, so you will have me more on the internet, and you can have me to yourself. So I don't get taken up by a whole bunch of things, but we gotta get monetized, and that Patreon is a good way of getting monetized at this point. So that would be nice. Also, if you can help me out before the month is over, that'd be great. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to bring up for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your out. Also follow me on Twitter, and if you'd like to be on Patreon, go ahead and be a Patreon member. And yeah, until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.